Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we just looking at the top news stories and rumors you need to know, including, when will Sasha Banks make her return, WWE Money in the Bank, 3 women that need the briefcase the most, Brooke announced her engagement, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling content. April 10, 2021 will certainly go down as one of the most historic nights in wrestling history for several reasons. I won't go over all of them here, but for the sake of this video, I will bring up one Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Going into the match, both Banks and Belair were under a lot of pressure to go out and live up to the expectations of a WrestleMania main event caliber match. Looking back on it, I think it's safe to say that the two did more than just live up to the expectations, don't you think? In the end, Belair won the match, and closed the first night of WrestleMania 37, on a note that was just as high as it was emotional. The story of the Boss versus the EST ends there, at least for now. One question at the moment that has not been answered is, when will Sasha Banks make her return? The Boss has not been seen on WWE programming since the April 16 edition of SmackDown. On that night, she was featured in a backstage segment with Kayla Braxton and appeared to be quite pissed off. Banks interrupted Braxton before she could even ask her a single question. Seriously, the Boss managed to blurt out a few words, and show off that wicked mark she got from Belair's braid shot, before walking out on both poor old Kayla and the interview. That was the interview. If you've been keeping up with WWE's Twitter feed, you'd have probably noticed that Banks is featured on the promo poster for SummerSlam this year, which is a great sign her return is imminent. But of course, even though she's featured on the poster, there's also a possibility she could return before then. On the latest edition of SmackDown, Sonya Deville announced the returning Zelina Vega as the second entry on the SmackDown side of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. She announced Carmella as the first entry a week before to this. There's still 2 spots left on the SmackDown side, so maybe, just maybe, she'll be announced in the coming weeks. Maybe that doesn't happen and she returns after MITB. Maybe she challenges Bianca Belair to a rematch at SummerSlam. Anyway, forget about all of my maybes for a second. When do you think Banks will return? Boom! WWE Money in the Bank is a short 15 days away. Grabbing the briefcase is a moment that can help set a performer's career on a whole new trajectory. WWE is in dire need of elevating some new talent to the top of the roster, and this is especially apparent in the women's division. With both Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley standing at the top of the SmackDown and Raw divisions respectively, this is an opportunity to create new angles. These are 3 women that need to win the PPV showcase more than others on the WWE roster. Number 1. Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's recent tenure on the WWE roster has been plagued with stop and starts. Whether it was her pairing with Ruby Riott, and the fans' desire to see them get crowned as WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, or her singles run, WWE continually stalls out when it comes to elevating Morgan at any point. In fact, she has defeated both Carmella and Zelina Vega in singles matches, defeated them, but they are the individuals added to the Money in the Bank match. Make it make sense. Morgan is perhaps the freshest face of any in the women's division to push into a main event program. She is growing a strong fan base and can come off as a believable face in that position. Seeing her secure the briefcase and challenge against either Belair or Ripley would be a worthwhile moment if booked right. Number 2. Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega's return to WWE was not the biggest kept secret, but it still caused a big pop in the industry when it occurred on Friday. Vega was one of the most important people on the roster early in the COVID-19 era, as WWE leaned on her, Andrade, and Angel Garza when the availability of the roster was limited. In November she was suddenly cut from the roster after the controversy surrounding third-party platforms. Now she is back, so the best step would be to feature Vega in a main event storyline, and the briefcase in her hands immediately puts her in that position. Number 3. Naomi. It is understandable if the thought is for the briefcase to go to a woman that has never been champion before. Naomi is a 2-time champion and has put together some impressive moments in the promotion. However, there is still a major misstep in how she is leveraged on the roster. Naomi can be a pillar of the women's division in several ways, but decision makers seem to be more apt not to utilize her at all. even though she has a fan base that rivals nearly any of the top women in the company. Everything about Naomi has the potential to be a main event level talent for the extended run that has escaped her at this point in her career. Putting the MITB briefcase in her hands, and seeing her get the cash in moment to add another layer to her career would go a long way in re-establishing Naomi as a featured talent. The Women's Money in the Bank briefcase is an opportunity for the WWE to show they are taking the steps to fix the booking in the women's division. These are 3 women on the roster that need to win the event more so than the others in the match. For more coverage of Money in the Bank, WWE, and all things professional wrestling, stick to my YouTube channel. Boom! There's nothing more precious than love. And the WWE Universe knows that superstars deserve more than just love. Well, one superstar found her happiness recently, and it's Dana Brooke. With a brief message on social media, Dana Brooke announced she is engaged to her fiancé Ulysses Diaz. The message incorporated her excitement and admiration about her upcoming future with Diaz, and for Diaz himself. Diaz is a professional boxer and MMA fighter who is based out of Miami. The duo started posting pictures on social media in February 2020, and soon fans put 2 and 2 together. It's unknown when they plan to tie the knot, but it's confirmed that exciting times await. Fans assumed Dana Brooke was dating Dave Bautista. Quite a while back, Dana Brooke and Dave Bautista had an exchange on Twitter which led fans to believe the duo were dating. However, they weren't exactly dating, but they did try to make a relationship work. Both of them wanted to make the effort but their schedules got in the way. Ultimately, they decided not to lead it on, and part ways as friends. Now, neither of them had a problem with their relationship coming under the spotlight. In fact, she knew the cameras were following her relationship closely, and there wasn't anything she could do about it. Nevertheless, their romantic chemistry made it to a storyline. Coming to her current WWE run, former WWE writer Vince Russo has suggested building a romantic storyline between Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Recently they've done things where they come right up to the edge. I'll point them out to you. They hinted with Sonya and Mandy, remember Liv and Lana. Remember that big thing. Okay, where is this going? Nothing. And the only reason I bring this up, everyone knows I'm all about Shock TV, this ain't Shock TV. If you're asking me if WWE hired me tomorrow, what would I do with these 2? Personally, I say, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.
Oh, let me up with a bright smile on now. Put me in the dark, so won't get lost now. To the moonlight